Oh, it's Kenyon Tobin right here from the Chosen Purpose podcast. We got Nathaniel Tanner in the building,
What's up, guys?
aka Pookie.
AKA Pookie, man. What's going on, y'all?
How you doing? Glad you
Appreciate you,
pulled up.
man.
Yes,
We
sir.
made it happen finally.
Yes, sir. We made it happen. So I got a couple questions I want to ask you, bro. First things first, bro. How did you get the name Pookie, bro? Where did that come from? For the people who don't know you, bro, where did that
Pookie,
name come from?
my mom, ever since I was a baby, like infant, like I know Pookie's a whole trend right now. It's all like a little cute thing, but when I was a baby, all of my family and then my mom's friends would call me it. And then like when I got to high school, some of my friends knew in middle school, but I was like, don't call me that. Like
Right?
we're fighting.
Yeah.
And then when I got to high school, it was like I was trying to stick out, like new school, new me.
Yeah.
And then I just started going by Pookie. Like some of my teachers, like all my friends, like it just started being that. And yeah, at one point we'll get into that, but I was like Big Pook. Everyone called me Big Pook.
Because some people might have like a different meaning of that name. It's got a couple meanings, but
Yeah.
before, like back in the day, I don't think it was as popping as it is
No,
now.
it
As
was
far as the
I mean, it's the drug pipe.
yeah,
So everyone's like, you're
yeah,
named after a drug pipe. And then now this like past 2 years, it's like, it's a cute thing or whatever. So
yeah,
I hear it all, but I used to be like, when I was chubbier and like had a baby face, it was like, don't call, like I was starting to form out of it because it was like all like cute vibes. And I
right,
was like, there's no masculinity into like being called a grown man Pookie.
right,
But I was like, man, this is me. Like, I'm not gonna hide nothing. Like, this is who I am. Like, my
right.
mom's calling me that. My mom lives in Florida, so I was like, you know what? This is who I am. I'm gonna stick by that.
So how was life for you growing up as a child?
Life as a child, I would say, like, I think I lived a very blessed life. It was definitely, my mom grew up with a fatherless home. So just me and my brother growing up, and my mom was just like grinding for us, like working jobs. Had a babysitter, a Spanish babysitter, till like I was like 6. I knew like fluent Spanish,
Right,
speaking Spanish, and then I lost it because like went back to my mom. She's white, but yeah.
right, right, yeah,
So lost it all. But then yeah, I would say like my mom did her like absolute best, like doing everything she could. Like I being in Ventura, you definitely have some of your friends were a little bit more wealthy than others,
right,
and I always wanted what they wanted, but my mom always had to like put me in check, like we're not keeping up with the Joneses. Like I can't buy you certain things like that. But in my head, like as when I was young, like I never saw that because like when you're that young, you don't really see what's going wrong. Like you
right,
don't like it's just used to it. Like my mom's just going to work and I'm going to school. Like it's just normal. I don't know like all the sacrifices. I don't know like the tears that she had or all the things where sometimes where I'm asking for these things, but it's killing her inside because she can't do it. Like and as I grew older, we built a really strong relationship. Like that's my best friend. Like uh, yeah, so like I was saying, she lives in Florida, so I try to see her as much as I can. But yeah, um, got to talk to her about like how was it like growing us up and like how'd you get through certain things and something that I never really knew because it was just like normal to me, but she put me on a lot of games, so
I think I
big
can
shout out to my
relate to
mom.
that a little bit too, because you were saying that you grew up in a single family kind of. Yeah,
Yeah,
your dad wasn't always there for you.
yeah,
Yeah, I could say the same, man. It was
yeah,
tough growing up.
for sure.
I lived out here in Ventura, so just like you said, with keeping up with the Joneses, like,
Yep.
yeah, bro, mama was
You know how
strict
it
too.
was.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
yeah, especially being
Mm-hmm.
African American, man, it's tough out here
Yeah.
because I feel like a lot of families out here who
Mm.
are African American, I feel like they don't really come from a lot of money. It's certain
Uh,
families that are,
yeah.
have it and some don't. Oh no, I did not know
Yeah.
that.
17 years old, I dropped out of high school and junior year, middle of junior year, and I went to Vista Real. It was like doing the packets.
Right? Yeah.
So like each packet is a credit, and then like you basically have to go in like once a week and like turn them in,
Was that
and
kind
then like people go there and like you can get ahead. Like people will grind it out and like graduate like junior year or whatever.
of right?
But yeah, that was like more lenient because I was addicted to Fortnite.
Was was it like
It
did you
was
not
bad.
were you not good in school, or was it you didn't want to go anymore,
Yeah,
or
I
what
never
was it?
really liked school. Like, bro, when I was in high school, my reading level was like third grade reading level. Like,
Right?
I was the class clown, so people would call on me like popcorn reading. I'd be like, no, and they would
Yeah.
just call on me because they know
Yeah.
I'm over here stuttering. Like, people are helping me, like, hella embarrassed. But yeah, like, yeah, dropped out of high school, and like that was another thing. Like, with my mom, like, keep waking up trying to fight me to go to school. Like, she kind of just like was like, you know what, like, you're about to be 18, like, that's something you gotta live with,
Right.
and that's something that I took up to the chin. Like I got a lot of hate for it, especially like with my friends' parents, because it was like, looking at that, like I didn't have no job, I have no car, I have no license. I was just like 250, just playing Fortnite, high school dropout,
Yeah.
like just doing whatever. And while my friends are graduating, like, and our senior year was the COVID year, so like we didn't have like a crazy graduation or
Right.
anything like that. But yeah, like I remember just like being at home and like just seeing everyone graduate, and I'm just like at home. So like it was definitely tough, and yeah, that was something that I had to storm out of, and then got a relationship. I got my GED
Right.
uh, like when I was 20,
Hmm.
and then I got into college, and then now I'm a full time student. So I
Did
went
you
back.
ever play sports or anything growing up as a kid or at
Yeah,
all?
so I was a hooper. I played football and basketball. I played for the Oxnard Warriors for football.
That's my rival, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I really enjoyed that and played with all the guys that most of them are D1 now, but that was
Right.
like my year. And then I was doing that and basketball, but I should have stuck with football honestly, because like I was pretty good.
Which one did you like more out of the two?
I think I was just soft, but I really liked football. I was just
Yeah, I feel
soft.
you.
And my mom was like, no, like it's hurting on your body. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you're right.
Yeah.
But I should have definitely just stuck with football, just
Yeah.
toughen it out.
Same here thing. It was mainly football though.
Yeah.
When I grew up, it was like I played basketball in BYBA.
Yeah,
Like youth
yeah, yeah,
basketball.
yeah.
That was friends and stuff. But
BYBA was lit, bro,
BYBA
back in the
was lit.
day.
Did you play for the Heat at all or no? The
Yeah,
Ventura Heat.
yeah.
Okay. So
So my stepdad at the time, Ray, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he was the coach for the Celtics, and
Yep.
so then it was like, we would always play the Heat, and we would get smacked all the time. Shout out to my boy Christian, he was busting my buns, bro. Pause. So like I wanted to play with the Heat,
Right.
and like I remember I transferred, and it was like weird little friction in the house sometimes because I had to go back, but.
Hmm.
And so I'm playing with the Heat, but then we're playing against the Celtics, and I left all my friends to go play on the Heat, and we're dogging them out. The Heat was tough.
Hey, bro. I don't know if you know this or not, but did you know that older brother used to hang out with? I think it was your cousin or your cousins actually, but you're related to Damien, right?
Yeah,
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 Edwards,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so my brother used to hang out with your cousin. They used to be best friends back in the day in high school.
For,
So my brother used to hang out with
who's your brother?
Tyree Johnson. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we're half brothers,
yeah,
but obviously I don't call him my half brother.
yeah,
That's blood. He's
yeah,
still blood. But
yeah,
yeah, bro. So I remember Damien used to come over when I
yeah.
when I was younger, bro.
It was
I'm not
running
gonna lie,
stuff,
bro. He used to have me rolling, bro.
bro. Still coming.
He's funny as
I
hell.
love them, bro.
Let's get into some of the struggles that you face growing up as a kid until now. We'll talk about now.
Yeah. I don't like honestly younger. I don't think I had like a crazy bad like childhood. Like
Okay.
not even lie. Like it wasn't like a great like I think more when I got to my teenage years is
Right.
like when stuff started like to fumble, I feel like. But like everything was pretty good. Like my mom did a hell of a job. So like I'm very blessed and thankful for sure.
Right.
But I would say up until like that high school point where I dropped out, and then I also got in a relationship. Like I was saying, so had a girlfriend for like 3 years,
Hmm.
and this is where I'm comfortable. Like getting in a spot because around that time I was 230 before I dated her.
We're talking
200,
about weight wise.
yes,
Yeah.
230 pounds, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get in the gym. I was locked in, all this good stuff. We're starting to go together, and then I don't know what it was, but food was just getting real good. We're
Yeah.
getting
I
big
mean,
foodies, and I
it's
was just
still
getting
good.
comfortable. I don't want to go to the gym, sit my feet up, watch Netflix,
Playing Fortnite.
playing Fortnite. She's bringing me food. I'm on the game while she's bringing me food. Like I was like, all right, this is lit. Like, and the thing is like being too comfortable. Like, and like we ended up breaking up, and but I learned like a lot through that breakup. And
Right.
honestly, that was like probably one of the biggest transformations. Like, other than my weight loss transformation, I'll go into that. But like mentally, that was like that what stuck me. Like
Right.
so, I would say within like these past like honestly like these past 3 years has been like the shift.
Yeah.
Like
The
I
pivot.
never would have thought where I am right now to like a year ago, even a year ago.
Hmm.
Never would have thought I'd be where I am right now.
So what was it that you went through to make you go into this transition in life? Like, and I'm not saying that obviously you and your ex
Yeah.
were, I'm not saying anything bad about that relationship, but
Hmm.
I'm saying how has the relationship helped you as far as your guys' breakup and everything
Yeah.
and to where you're at right now in life?
Yeah. Like broke up over the phone. And like at the time, like I was in Hawaii.
Right.
I was in Hawaii, so I had one more week left in Hawaii, but I was so sick. I was so hurt. I booked like a flight like a week earlier to go home, and I was so reliant on her because again, a little bit backstory. My dad passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that,
Yeah,
bro.
my dad passed away on Father's Day, I think 2021 or
On
2022.
Father's Day, bro.
Yeah, so I went to go see my dad the day before. My girlfriend at the time, her dad passed away, a tragic accident, like one in a million chances. He was driving, Santa Ana winds, a tree falls, and like just one in a million. And I saw him one day, and he was kind of like a father figure. Like that was like the first family that I've seen, like where there's a parent, like two parents in the house, they're married, they're sitting down having meals together, like a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't used to. Christian
Hmm.
family, dad was a pastor, but I got to see like what a family looks like, and that was like so inspirational. So like super thankful for that family and everything. Like I wouldn't change anything for the world. Her dad one day and gone the next, passed away. That changed my perspective. And I was like, damn, I need to see my dad. Like, you never know what's gonna happen. 7 months later, I started hanging out with him more. 7 months later, day before Father's Day, I go to go see him, and he was like, "Come back tomorrow." He's like, "Well, I'll take you shopping." Da da da. And it was gonna be our first Father's Day together
Right.
ever. And then he got shot. He got shot in Oxnard, and yeah, so that was like a crazy, crazy experience for sure. And that was like another storm that I had to go through because it was like her dad, and 7 months later my dad, and then like that honestly was like another spark within like my weight loss journey as well.
Right.
And then like a year later, then we got broken up with. So I'm
Hmm.
like, dang. I remember just like after we broke up because like I was reliant. I had no car, I had no job, I was skinny, but didn't have all that stuff.
So you got that 230 down at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So around the time where she broke up, a lot of people think like my weight loss started when she broke up with me. Like I got so hurt that I lost the weight. Like no, I was already skinny,
Right.
and then we broke up, and then and I just knew I had my body right, but I knew my mind wasn't there, and I knew something was missing, and yeah, like I was so reliant on her, eating at her house all the time because my mom, my dad's gone, my mom lives in Florida, so always over there driving her car.
Hmm.
She was doing my homework
Hmm.
and all that good stuff. So when she left, I had no car. I was like, damn, what am I gonna do for food? I failed all my college classes. I was like, man, this is crazy, and I was just in a pit. And that's when I started to build my relationship with God. So like whatever you see now, honestly, is like all through God. Because man, like I was in a deep spot. Like I was didn't want to be here anymore. Like
Right.
it got to the point where like it was like that victim mentality where everything just felt like against me, and the enemy will try to do that, make it seem like like I have friends, I have people, and to like I got community, but like I felt alone,
Hmm.
and the enemy will try to isolate you and like try to tell you, you're nothing, you're not worthy, no one likes you, like you'll never do better, like certain things like that, and that's where that happened. But thankfully, like God just saved my life, legit.
Right.
Like so, anything that people see now in the future, like it sounds corny because I remember like not being a Christian and all the Christians like it's just God, like it's not me. But man, like for real, I couldn't. Nah.
Back to what you were saying about the and like having the fear and doubt in your mind and everything.
Yeah.
Ways how you were able to overcome from that situation as far as you getting those. It's kind of like in a way mental health. You're going through the motions,
Yeah.
with everything. Let's talk about how you're able to grow from that and
Mhm.
overcome that situation that you're in.
Yeah, I would say the first thing would be like kind of talking about it. Like there's a healthy and an unhealthy way of isolation, I feel like. And I think when you're in a tough spot like that, you want to tell people. Like it takes a lot of
Right.
vulnerability to be like, yo, like I'm going through this or like
Yeah.
this is happening.
Even with family too,
Yeah,
huh?
even with
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
but also like even as a man, like it's like a pride thing. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to seem weak. Some friends like I'm gonna go to you for this, like so it's like I had to put my pride to the side and like community. Like that was like the biggest thing, especially with like my like Christian community. I knew because I have friends like, and we're wild like friends wilding out, going out like. But if I go to them, they're like, "F all that," go
Yeah.
get girls, like let's just go drink and da da da. But then my Christian community is like, all right, let's go get coffee, let's sit down, break it down, like what's going on. Okay, the Bible says this or whatever, or like even just being like a solid ear to hear. And well, shout out to my friends for that. Like, and my boy Tony, runs his own liquor store, and I was just at his liquor store all the time, like just hanging out with him during that moment of like my mental, and he was just being there for me. My boy Seb,
Oh, Tony, is
Tony,
he a Christian?
yeah, he's a Christian as
Okay.
well. So like, I'd bring my Bible to the liquor store, like we would start talking about certain things.
Right.
And, of course, like my flesh and my desires, like is to like go party, go do that stuff. Like I'm gonna go get a girl because I was fat my whole life, and now that I'm getting some attention when I'm
Yeah,
skinny,
he's starting to get some motion, huh?
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm gonna go do that. But like I can't lean on my flesh, and my flesh got me to the point where I'm in that mental capacity,
Right.
and I just couldn't like lean on myself, and that's like when I truly just like gave myself to God, because it was like I never had a father figure. I never knew what that felt like. So like I like Jesus, I just treat the word and like what's in the word like a father, and like just my relationship with him as like a father. And like because I can do whatever I want. Like my mom's gone.
Right.
I can do whatever
You're a
since
grown
18.
man.
Yeah, since
Yeah.
18. So it's like I can go wild out. I can do whatever, but it's not till I got in touch with God where I started to feel conviction on certain things, and I had to unlearn a bunch of things that I learned by like my family. So that's like been the biggest thing, is like unlearning things that I'm used to.
I think I can agree with that because I see my family too. We're not the perfect family.
Yeah,
And I, like you were saying in the beginning, that there's a lot of things that I've seen in other families that we didn't really get to.
for
And I
sure.
wish we could experience that. But I mean, that's something that you kind of learn growing still in the moment. Like,
Same,
you don't
bro.
want to speak on it. Your parents are kind of like going to tell you like, we're
Yo,
not
they
the
go,
same as these other families.
yeah, mad.
Yeah, they're going to get mad and they
Yeah.
kind of take it out on you.
Hmm.
I wanted to add on to what you were saying about how you had your friend Tony at the liquor store, and then you had a couple other friends that were Christian as well. Did
Hmm.
you go through a point to where you had to kind of isolate and kind of cut the friends off that you were hanging out with before you
Yeah,
went through this transition phase?
big time. Yeah, for sure. I remember I legit told my boy Drew, but he's a Christian man. He's good, and but at this time, the isolation, I was like, bro, like I don't like nothing wrong, but I was like, don't talk to me. Like I'll let you know when I'm ready. But like I told a few people that like I just can't hang out with you. And even being in like rooms where it's like it was normal, but then like they're like talking about girls or like doing certain things, like, and so I had to separate myself from that because it was like I don't want to hear that right now. Like especially with my mentality, like I just got a relationship. I don't want to hear about more females,
Right,
especially in the way and some how some boys be talking.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that it wasn't healthy for me. And so yeah, like definitely had to cut people off and just kind of sort people and like take a step back and be like, all right, how do people benefit me? And then like I have to make sure my time is like kind of valuable and like work on myself. So it's like if I'm hanging out with you, it's not that I need something from you, but is it beneficial? Like what's happening with this relationship?
Right.
Are we trying to better ourselves? Are we grinding? Like, can I even be real with you if I'm in a vulnerable spot? Because there's some friends that I have where I can't open up to them like that.
No.
So it's like, what I'm saying? So that big time.
Yeah. Did you ever regroup again after you kind of went through this transition phase, or is there some people that you still kind of had to put to the side and just,
Uh,
not bring them back into your life?
the one person I would say big time that I like paused for a second was my boy Drew.
Right.
But like, yeah, we're locked in. Like, we're super close now. And like, yeah, he also went through like a pretty good breakup on Christmas. I don't mean to blow out your info,
Hmm.
but it's all part of the story.
I feel like I could relate to you in a way, bro, because I actually went through like the last 2 years, bro.
Mm,
I went through this big transition phase, and
yeah.
I had to isolate myself from a lot of people. And it
Mm,
wasn't because I didn't like them anymore or anything,
yeah.
but I was kind of going down that phase to where I was going out all the time.
Mm,
I was basically getting into things that were not purposely driven. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? They weren't for a purpose at all. It was more
Mm,
just pleasure, like you said, going out, chasing women,
yeah.
doing a bunch of things that were not,
Yeah.
godly. And I had to check myself, bro, because I was feeling like I was like running from something. That was I wasn't honest with myself about the reason why I was doing these things. Kind of just like me having fun, going
Yeah.
out every weekend, not saving money.
F it.
Yeah,
Just
you know what I'm
going.
saying? F it. But I feel like as I'm 26. How old are you?
22.
22?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I got 4 years on you.
Yeah.
I feel like these are things that we have to go through though in life, bro. Because how are
100%.
we, how are we going to be able to navigate and fix things if we
Yeah.
don't really go
Yeah.
through it and try to learn from? To add to that, the Bible was something that kind of helped me out a lot because I was not reading the Word at all when I was younger. So focused on like going out and chasing women and stuff.
Yeah.
But the Bible actually helped me a lot too, bro, because I picked that up and it was weird. I was actually scrolling on Instagram
Really?
and I came across this like app.
Yeah.
It's called like the Blessed Bible app,
Uh-huh.
and I downloaded it on my phone, bro, and it changed my life.
Really?
Every day for the past 2 years, it'll give me a morning verse and it'll elaborate on what that verse means,
Yeah.
and then at nighttime, it'll give me the night verse and elaborate on that,
That's
and
fine.
then I was able to just kind of grow and just mature.
Yeah.
So it seems like, bro, you really matured out basically from coming up is in high school and everything,
Yeah.
and the friends you were hanging out with.
No,
You
yeah,
matured
for
out a
sure.
lot, bro. And
Yeah.
do you think some of those friends are kind of still stuck in the same spot? I don't mean to put them on blast or nothing, but
Nah, I'm an open book. Hell yeah. A
yeah,
lot of them are stuck, and it's like, even though I try to tell them, but there's like sometimes they gotta learn, because like even if someone told me when I was at that point, it would just fly over my head. So it's like I understand, and so like I'm not mad at it, but it's like sometimes it takes some real pain to like see, or like whatever the case may be.
you
Like
got to go through something.
gotta go through something,
Yeah,
and like unfortunately I get to that point. It's like for me, it was like, dang, like I don't want to take life for granted. Like I'm super blessed, and it took my dad passing away for me to see that, or like the breakup to be like, oh dang, like let me learn how to be a better man.
right.
Or it took pain, super pain, depression to get in touch with God. Like it just takes some pain, and a lot of wisdom comes from some pain, for sure.
Okay.
So I'm very thankful for everything.
So let's talk about what you got going on now. See, you've been doing this thing on social media. You know what I'm saying? You've been going up on that Instagram.
So,
I don't know. Are you on TikTok? And
not too much on TikTok, as much as I should be. I don't know why. I think I was recycling videos from Instagram onto TikTok, and it
right,
wasn't performing how, and so my motivation just kind of, but it's way different. So I need to study the game on that.
right.
I'm still learning.
So the name of my podcast is Chosen Purpose, bro.
Oh, that's
And the
fire.
reason why I named it that was because I wanted to help people find their purpose in life.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who could relate to what you just said about the situation that you were going through and everything that you went through. Like, what gave you the inspiration to kind of change and like be able to get to the position to where you're at right now?
Yeah. I would say, because I've always been like the younger cat out of like all my like family. Like I got all older cousins, all older brothers, and so thankfully for them, they got to mess up a lot, and so I got to see what to do and what not to do.
We're gonna get into how you transitioned and being your weight at 230 up until now. What are you weighing in right
Yeah.
now?
I'm at 185,
185.
Yeah.
So what was it that kind of gave you the mindset to start working out, and what has fitness done for your life?
Yeah. So my highest ever was 275. So when I got in that relationship, I gained 50 pounds.
Right.
So 275, and I would say fitness changed my life just insanely amount, like confidence wise, because I didn't like the way I looked. I was tired of looking in the mirror, crying looking in the mirror. Clothes weren't fitting. If I'm 275, even if I eat a salad at the cookout, damn, you just
Yeah.
and then just getting bullied, all that good stuff. But that's what comes with it. But I would say like when my dad passed away, he was always swole and like buff, like crazy genetics, and like that was another motivation. And then honestly, just like something lit a flame where it was just like everybody, like my whole life, like talking bad about me with like the high school dropout and like just being obese. Like I actually remember like looking online, the what happens without a father not in the home, and there was like a list of like a bunch of things, like you're more likely to go to jail, you're most likely to be obese, a dropout, no money. I was like, oh dang. I was like, I don't got no money.
Yeah.
I'm obese and
So
a high school
all this
dropout.
is lining up right
Yeah,
now.
I was like, nah, we gotta switch this up.
Yeah.
And so that's when I like really locked in after I seen that, because I was like, nah, I'm gonna beat the odds. I don't want to be no statistic. And so I didn't think like with my fitness journey I'd be at where I'm at right now, but like just getting to that point was such a blessing, and not only to for myself, but like also to inspire and just like help out other people. Because like a lot of people, doing the content and stuff, like a lot of people reach out and like will ask me questions, or I think it's just like they also will look at me because when I was big, I was looking at people on Instagram, like their transformations, and I'd want to see like their body type and then seeing what they would look like after.
Hmm.
So a lot of people will look at me like, what's your size, your weight and height and all that stuff, because they would look at my body and like loose skin, stretch marks. They want to like know if I have all that stuff. So yeah, just thankfully the black genetics came in crazy. I would say that for sure.
Yeah.
And I would say losing weight will change people's perspective on you. Like, not only do I get respect on everybody who's ever clowned on me, but like people will talk to you different, treat you way different. Like they know that you're serious and that you're dedicated, that you work hard. And so that was like an ultimate testament to like people know like I'm serious and like I'm trying to get locked in. And whenever it is, like just being consistent. Because to lose 90 pounds, bro, you need some consistency for that. And
Yeah.
so like I knew if I could put my mind to that, I could do anything
You need some discipline for sure.
for sure.
Yeah. Was it hard when you were going through your transition phase, like as far as like what you were eating and everything? How has your diet played a big role in what you got going on? Because I
Yeah.
know when you work out, bro, you kind of get your body starts breaking all this muscle down and
Mm,
fat too, and your
yeah.
body kind of gets more hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how were you able to kind of keep your appetite and everything in check?
Yeah. I love food. So I love food. Pizza is probably like my favorite food, 100%. I just ate pizza before I came, but like pizza, like no, not pizza, but food was just tough because it's like your cravings, like you have to truly deny yourself, and like not to, well, I'm gonna bring in God, but it's like I also thought about it more recently. It's like sin, like you got to deny yourself, like your flesh and your body wants these certain things, but you have to tell yourself no. And it's like you're ultimately like my flesh. I'm gonna keep it like 1,000. Like my flesh, like I want to go do these things with girls. Like I want to have sex and do all these things, but like I know from like from the hurtness that came from it with me personally, I knew it wouldn't be good for me. So it's like I know with food, if I eat this food, yeah, it might taste hella good, temporary pleasure, but tomorrow or whatever, it's not gonna be good for me. So just like stop, I just stopped eating for pleasure and just started eating for like results. It's the same thing every day.
Right.
I don't want to eat no damn ground beef and eggs and doing all that. Like it looks cool, like for the fitness community, but nah, give me a burrito,
Yeah.
pizza. Like I
Yeah.
love that stuff, but and yeah, I just had to deny myself for the 15-minute pleasure for the long term.
Right.
Like
Building muscle and everything
yeah,
too.
the biggest thing was like getting full off of protein first, and
Yeah.
then like if 9 times out of 10, if you're getting full off like a healthy meal, I don't think you like most of the time you won't want those cravings after.
Yeah,
Exactly.
your stomach's already. I had a hard time kind of keeping my appetite in check and everything
Yeah.
too. Like research on like the type of food that you eat, as far as like notice how once you eat those types of foods, like it could be sugar,
Yeah.
foods that are like high in fat and everything. Like, do
Yeah.
you notice that you kind of crave it more?
Yeah.
Like after you eat,
Thousand
you'll the
percent.
next day you'll want to start going in on more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Junk food.
Yeah.
Um, did you ever like notice about like the additives and everything and like the stuff that's banned, bro, out here in the US? Like they got stuff that they're like
Yeah.
that is banned like in China and like
Mm-hmm.
other spots, and
Yep.
they're serving the food out here to us,
Yep.
and they got all these dyes and everything in there.
Yep. The red dye, all
Yeah, the
that.
red dye. I just read on something that they're getting ready to ban certain dyes in the U.S.
Yeah.
like I think like next year or something like
Yeah.
that.
I saw it too.
But isn't it crazy how like the certain foods and stuff that they're serving us out here, bro, is like
Yeah. It's like
addictive, bro.
it
It's like
is.
chemicals
Yeah.
in a
And a
way.
lot of people don't like realize it. I think I didn't know that until I traveled to a different country and like I started traveling more. And when I went to Spain, everything has like bread, like they're eating pastries in the breakfast, they're eating pizza, pasta, like all carbs, but everyone's no obesity.
No.
No, and it's like it's something different out there. I don't know too much of the specifics because I was just like I'm just eating it all, but like it's different out there from like over here, and yeah, all the red dyes are just like, and I just think like we don't. Sometimes it's just as careless, like I don't care whether it's like finance, whether it's through food, like the resources are out there, like everything there's nothing that is blocking away from us. And there's a lot of things where like even me at one time was like the rich, like they know something I don't, then like they're hiding it, but it's like it's everything is possible. And like if one person could do it, like why not you?
Right.
And so I just think you just have to put the time in, and even being just educated on what you're putting into your body. And sometimes, people are careless, and I'm gonna die anyways, so I'm just do what I do. But I think taking care of your health, like for sure, and your body will let you know. Like even on my cheat meals, if I'm locked in, but I have my cheat meals, my body will let me know the next day.
Yeah.
My stomach is messed up.
The main thing I feel like is it's all up here, bro. Like you gotta at least want it for yourself, because if you
Yeah,
don't want it for yourself, then nobody else is gonna even care
yeah,
to want it for you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for
And
sure.
that's another thing that I want to add on to like self discipline. I feel like people, and I'm not speaking on everybody, but I'm saying, there's a lot of people who don't really have the discipline to even want it for themselves or even want to put in the work. Like they just want to keep scrolling on social media and like
Mhm.
looking at all these other things that don't really mean nothing.
Yep.
It's kind of like not benefiting their life in any way. What we were talking about earlier, bro, the social media and like everybody's algorithm, it's
Yeah.
it's causing people to kind of get misled in
Yeah,
certain situations in their life just
for
because they
sure.
see
The highlights.
exactly they see people doing stuff a certain way and they just want to act and follow the same thing they're
Yeah,
seeing.
that runs deep. We can get into that.
Yeah, we can definitely get into that. How has discipline helped you in your life as far as you being able to step into social media and hanging out with certain friends and saying no to certain things? I feel like a lot of people have a hard time with saying no,
Yeah,
even when they get offered to go out somewhere, go to the club. You know what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
How has discipline helped you in your life?
Um, this might sound cringy. Andrew Tate.
Andrew
This might
Tate,
sound
that's my
cringy.
dog, bro.
Like,
I watch him all the time.
not too much on the women stuff before everyone gets a little too crazy, but like
Inspiration,
his inspiration of like no one's gonna save you. Like no one's gonna wake up and be like, okay, he's been working hard. Let me buy him a house or a car or whatever he wants. He's been working hard. I've been seeing him.
right?
No one's gonna do that. So it's like when I came to the realization, like I can keep playing the blame game in my situation. Like my dad's gone, my mom's gone. I grew up with not finances and I don't have the education. Like I can say all these things and be like, all this stuff is against me, or I can do something about it. And so it's either I keep blaming because it's like, when's the last time, like being in a circumstance, people have blamed something and it benefited for them? Like, you never complained about something like, okay, you're right. Here's $10,000. No, it doesn't work like that. So it's like I knew I just had to get locked in. Like no one's gonna do it for me. And like I think being in Ventura, it's kind of it's a small, and I realized that if you see a Rolls Royce in Ventura or a Porsche or like a crazy Lambo, you're like, yo, like who is that? Like that's nuts. When I go to Santa Barbara or when I go to Florida or these different places and you see those type of cars, like it's just regular.
It's regular out there.
So it's like, am I gonna like? And that's why like I want to travel and I kind of want to get out of my city. Is like I don't want to be in a place where a Lamborghini's like, oh my gosh, like what? And it's like when I see the stores that this is like material stuff, but it's like we're all desiring something at the end of the day, like for some
Right.
type of motivation. And so like if there's a Lamborghini store, that means that it's possible. All these houses on the hills up here, if one person has it, there's thousands of them. Why can't I have it? And so just putting that perspective in my head, because the comfortability thing was like, maybe I'm just fine with like this job, getting paid this amount, just drive around in a regular car, family, just kick my feet up.
Average.
Yeah. So, but I just knew like if I'm gonna be here and I know I'm gonna die, I might as well just try. Like you might as well. Like if you're gonna die, you gotta think about it, like you're gonna die one day. You might as well do what you have to do.
Might as
Take
well
the
die
risk,
trying, bro.
bro. Like it's like you're gonna die. Like don't regardless. And like I don't play the game that much anymore. Like I'm not on it, and it's just like I like to take my time like valuable. I love doing things like this. I love talking to people, networking, going on trips. That's like something that I spend my money on is like trips and stuff. I have a cool car. I have a motorcycle. Like I got what I wanted, but I also realized like being around wealthy people, like there's after getting all that, there's some people are still not satisfied. And that made me realize like money's not like it helps you a lot of problems, but it also can bring on more
It's not
problems.
gonna solve everything.
Yeah, so it's like like your mindset to everything is like the biggest thing to it, and just being organized and just knowing what you want. And honestly, with like the podcast, just finding that purpose, because you can, like, I don't make six figures a year, but if I wanted to, I can go do 6 months police academy and be a cop next year and start making six figures. But I was like, so then is it about the money? Because I wouldn't want to do that. And so it's like it's not all about the money, and it's like that purpose.
Hmm.
Because if I'm doing something I don't like, but it's bringing in good money, but I feel no purpose, it's gonna run out eventually. But if I'm being paid half that, but I feel super purposeful and I'm helping people, I'm changing people's lives, you know, maybe I'm able to help someone else be financially good, like, and that's just like for me where I just want everybody to win. Like at first I used to get like prideful or jealousy, but I just want to see people win because it's like all this stuff is cool, temporary,
It's all
it's
temporary.
like it's nice and all. And even with like going on social media, when you're scrolling, you see people's highlights. Not everybody's showing like the real thing or whatever, or they're scared to get canceled. Like, and I think for me, getting into this season on social media is like I want to be real. I want to create a community where like you don't just see the highlights and you'll see like the 10-second clip of like me traveling, my transformations, this and that. Like
Right.
I want to tell you like my struggles,
Yeah.
and
The whole journey to
I
get to
want to
where
tell you
you
the
were
whole
there.
journey.
Yep.
And so like me to get out to be like vulnerable enough to be it. And I was just like thinking about it, like I'm gonna die, and I know that I ultimately do it for my younger self. I would say because I know there's somebody out there that's exactly like me, and I know if I could just share that game, it would just help people. And I honestly talk to a lot of like older wisdom people, like
Right.
married couples. Like I'll ask them like certain things because it's like if I'm able to learn through them and they save me a couple years of what they went through, I'm now ahead of the game. So it's like I'm taking in all this knowledge, and like, it's up to me whether I just blow it over the head or like, yo, don't do that. And so,
Bro, to add on to what you were saying, I could kind of see similarities in between me and you because we both kind of didn't really come from a family
mhm,
that had a lot of money,
yeah,
and we both kind of had friends that were wealthier than
yeah,
us, obviously, that had
yeah,
more stuff, and we were able to kind of see what they had, and it kind of, I feel like, in a way, inspired us to, say like, man, like I want to be able to work hard and be able to accomplish like things kind of like that, them
yeah.
kind of setting an example. Do you think that not coming from money versus a family who, or let's say a kid who's been spoon fed everything, like a
Yeah.
family who's came from money and they've been able to kind of provide everything for their child and
Mhm.
not have them work for anything that they have? Do you think that there's two, do you think that kind of creates two separate people as far as like the way they're inspired by life?
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. I would say like, cause it changes people's perspective, and cause when they hear my perspective on the side of the story, cause it's like when you're so used to how you're living, like it's just normal, like the normal having two parents, and like just certain things like that. And then when you're upbringing with the wealth, it's like when you're 16, it's like dad's gonna buy me a car when I'm 16, and now I'm going to high school with all these kids, and I'm still like taking the bus or
Yeah.
people like that. But as soon as when people get 16, they're like, yeah, I already got a car on the way, and it's like it just totally hits different. And I remember when I was 18, or I was 21 when I bought my first car. Never had a car until 21. I'm crying, da da da. Like it just totally hits different. It's a different perspective. And I definitely tell my friends like, yo, like you over here complaining or like being mad disrespectful to your parents or whatever, like bro, like I don't think you understand, bro. Like it might look sweet over here with me because I don't have a curfew or whatever the case may be, but bro, I would die to be in your position to where like someone's like, yeah, you're not going out, you have to stay and do your homework. Like I
Yeah.
had to learn the hard way. Like you might be hating life because your parents are on you, bro, but you have parents, and like you want to get out the crib. Like I get it, you want to get out the crib. Like you don't want to go by the rules, but like take advantage that you're living at home right now. Like some people don't have that. Like you got to go get it. And so like, all right, like if you're at home, see what you have right now. You're at home. They're feeding you. You don't have to spend money on food too much. Like you're getting home cooked meals.
Hmm.
Start stacking your bread because all this stuff, like you're in your 20s, all that's sweet for a little while. Because next thing you know, you about to be a dad. There's no going back to mom's crib.
Nah, bro.
Nah, once you're out of there, you're out of
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's over with.
And so like I think just people just realizing and just being truly grateful for like what they have. And honestly, my perspective, like again, traveling. When I went to Vietnam this past couple months ago, like it was. I remember I was asking people like, "What's your dream?" And like Google Translate, I was like, "What's your dream?" And it's like to learn English or to come to America. Like your dream is to be where I'm at. Like your dream is to be in my position. But I'm like, sometimes I'm like, my life is terrible. I'm comparing myself. So and so has this. I don't have that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm behind. My money's not up as much as I wanted. But your dream is to be where I'm at, and my dream is to be where they're at.
Right.
So at what point are we going to be content with what we have? Because they're they're over here being farming, and shoes are busted. You got 70-year-old women hitch like weed whacking the side of the mountains. You got
Right.
5-year-olds pulling a cow with a hatchet, like a total different thing. And it's like they're the happiest, most nicest people ever, and they'll never see what I've ever seen in my life. They'll never have the money that I ever had, and I don't got crazy bread, but they'll never like those experiences. But they're just happy, and it's like I got nothing to complain, bro. And like I think like at a mental capacity, like I think our generation is just soft.
Cooked.
We're just cooked. Like I would keep it 1,000. Like we're cooked, we're soft, and like I just think like man, yeah, we're just getting soft.
To
And
add on to that, bro, I want to say, as far as like our generation being soft, social media has a big thing to play in part of it
it's so
because
bad.
they're showing us these highlights like we were talking about, and you're only seeing the good. But
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people are kind of comparing their life to other people and wanting to put themselves in the same situation. I think that has affected people as far as like keeping up with the Jones and certain situations, bro. Because I want to say real quick, bro, I was the same way.
yeah,
I used to see stuff all the time. I was really influenced by music and
yeah.
rap. I had a favorite rapper. I say like NBA YoungBoy, bro. I love YoungBoy,
I
bro.
wanted to kill somebody after
Yeah,
listening to
nah,
that.
I was never that crazy into it. But bro, I would just like see like the way he was living, bro.
The
Lavish,
chains,
bro.
all that.
Yeah, all that shit. And I feel like a lot of people are kind of inspired in a way because I was too. But
Yeah,
at the same time, bro, it comes to a realization where, bro, that's not really the way that everybody kind of wants to be like a rapper,
yeah,
in a sense.
yeah.
But if you really think about it deep down, bro, and after reading the word too,
Mm,
bro, it's not really the lifestyle that you think you want.
yeah.
Cause that shit comes with a lot.
People don't see.
Yeah, that people don't see, bro. There's a lot of shit that is going on like behind the scenes with
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
I kind of feel like a lot of people are inspired by, like the rap and everything that we're seeing on social media.
yeah.
So can you tell me about like how you think as far as going forward, like how do you think your old friends and like the people who you used to hang out with, like do you feel like they were kind of misled by certain things that they would see on
Yeah,
Instagram and everything?
yeah, for sure. I would 100%. I definitely have some friends that are like get a lot of info even from rappers, or it's like that lifestyle, and it's like being from Ventura too. It's like, bro, you live in Ventura, like you don't gotta be like gang banging and doing like stuff like that. It's like, or even the ones that like, bro, I know your parents. You come from a good household. Why are you trying to? What are you doing? Don't make your life harder than it actually is. Like to do that. So it's like just be real, and it's like I think the biggest thing is like the wealth. I've seen a lot of the wealthiest people don't really flash what they have,
Nah,
and it's
bro.
something about that silent wealth is just so much more powerful than like, yo, look what I got. To like be somewhere. I just went to the car wash the other day with my boy, and we're like, which one's your car? Like he knew somebody there. He didn't know like he had a crazy car, but he's like, just something, and he didn't want to tell us. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna see you guys. Like it was nice meeting you. Leaves in a Porsche, and we're tripping. Like we're thinking Toyota, whatever, but like it's like that silent wealth, and it's just like don't get it twisted. Like don't be someone who you're not, and don't try to prove to other people like you got nothing to prove. Nothing's worth dying over. Nothing's worth like getting in ego or fight to show and yeah, it's like just that pride, bro. It's that pride for sure. And sometimes insecurity is like, I didn't have this, so I'm gonna make sure I have it, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna let everybody know I have it. I had that too. It was like I finally got my car, and I was like look
Kind
at
of let it get to your head a
yeah,
little bit, I
like
had the
I did
same
this.
problem.
You know what I'm saying? Like I did this.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about me, or even with losing weight, like look at me, all this stuff. But it's like, bro, like I'm just until I put my humility and my pride to the side, and like nothing is without this without God, and I couldn't be where I am. So why would I flex on you if I know like I can't do this by myself? And it's like people don't know that. Like they see the lavish stuff, but like you can't do it on your own. Like
Mm-mm.
it's so much deeper. But also, I think relationships are cooked in this generation as well with social media, and I've seen relationships get over with over a like or a follow. And it's like if you were to tell somebody 20 years ago there's going to be a platform called social media and marriages are going to end because of a like or certain things, and it's just like, bro, like we're so cooked. And it's like even with girls and music, it's like all this independent bad girl like
Yeah.
pop yo da da da, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do my thing.
You
It's
talking
like
about all the sexy reds and
yeah,
everything
all
out
the
there,
sexy
bro.
reds. It's like no, like no,
Yeah.
don't do that.
That ain't
And
it,
it's
bro.
like not like there's gonna be guys that are attracted to that, yes, but like, is it for what you think it is? It might be on some, oh, she bad. I'm trying to boom, scoop, scoop out. It's not like I don't want my wife to be listening to Sexy Red talking about I'm a bad independent. Nah, like it's something about like having a girl that a man feels like respect and just like you can depend on. We can take care, like all that good stuff. Like a man wants that. So why would we want someone who's like, I can do it on my own. I'm independent. I don't need no man. You know, man, all men are trash. I've been broken, and so a man's never helped me. So why are you gonna come in? It's like we don't want all that stuff. So it's like social media. That's like another way to see it, and it's like it's cooked.
I
Like
think it's to add on to that, it's kind of like they're trying to set the bar too for certain relationships because people are seeing certain things on the ground
yeah,
and everything, and they're like, "Why don't you do this for me?" Or like,
yep,
you know what I'm saying? Like, what?
yeah.
It's crazy, bro. I want to talk to you a little bit about manifestation and meditation, bro. Do you meditate at all?
I wouldn't say that. I would say more like prayer.
Prayer
Yeah,
for you?
I would say like I'm a big like prayer warrior, and just like there's definitely moments where journaling, I would say journaling and prayer the most. Like journaling, just sitting down and just like thinking on my thoughts. But prayer is like big time. Just being able to, I feel my safest when I'm like in my room, when I'm in my word, no distractions, and I have my journal. And that's where I feel like my strongest, my safest, and that's where a lot of things like happen or my ideas come to mind. And just like truly just asking God like whatever's there or just like revealing. And once I get that locked in mind, just all the things just start adding up and goals and certain things. And there's a Bible verse. It's like a man can like plan out his goals, but it's up to the Lord whether or not these things happen. So it's like I can only do so much on my end, but faith without works is dead. A lot of people think they're gonna pray for certain things or ask for these certain things, but not put the work in. Faith without works is dead.
It
You
don't work
still,
like that, bro.
yeah, like he might give you the source, and a lot of times it's like if God was to give me $1 million right now, I honestly don't know what I would do with it. So it's like, how can I set up myself to be prepared for when those things happen? It's like we want all these things, but we're not prepared. And some of the things that we ask for in prayer, if God was to give us those things right then and there, a lot of those times, it'd probably hurt us a lot more. And so God's timing is so perfect on everything. And it's so hard for us to see it because, especially with social media, we're so impatient. We want it now. But everything happens for a reason. And I truly believe that. And just like manifestation's big. There's a book called The Secret, and it just like talks about like certain things. And it's like I truly told myself like I'm a whatever I want, I'm gonna make it happen. Like one way or another. Made it happen. Like thought about my car, started seeing Teslas everywhere. I really want a Tesla. I really want a Tesla. I was like, I'm gonna get a car. I went to go, I got my car. There's like certain things like that.
Right. So for the people who don't really understand what it takes to kind of get to where you're at right now, as far as you accomplishing your fitness, you accomplishing, buying yourself a new car. What did it kind of take for you to put yourself in position, like separate yourself from, and what are the things that you used, in your everyday life to get to where you're at today?
Yeah, I would say first one is again the pride and the humility,
Right.
and starting off with that. But I would say just like goals is like it sounds corny, but you need to have goals. Like you need to know what you want. That like having good desires. There's sometimes their desires are bad, but like having good desires and to where you're getting motivated to reach that goal. whether it's 3 months, a month. I start writing down like a month goal, a 3 month, like what I want to have happen. And then like not only writing that goal, but like taking the steps to how to get there.
Right.
It's like, okay, like lose 90 pounds. It's like, okay, sounds cool. But it's like, what do I need to do? Gym 5 days a week, eat these foods, count my calories, da da da. Like it's the goal, but there's so much steps for you to get to that goal. So it's like finding out whatever that is. Do I need, what do I want? How much money do I want to make? 20K a month. Okay, this job does this. I need to make this, blah, blah, blah. Like figuring out what's going to be there. Now you know what job you want to do. Like for you, like you're doing what you need to do. You're like, all right, this is the goal, but I need to do this first, pass this first,
Hmm.
get my like whatever the business
One
is.
step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, but that's the big goal. And so I think, and more recently, I'd say like about 2 months ago, I was in a fog, and like I just didn't know, like just contemplating myself. I didn't know what I want to do. No goals, no nothing. But I had a goal, and I put it away because I didn't think it was possible, but I know it's possible. And it was like I want to move to Bali. I want to move to Bali for a little bit, train, fight, um, like live that for a little bit, travel some more. And it's like, okay, like all right, bet. So this is my goal. How much money do I need for that? It's like, all right, bet. It's time to get to work. Start doing that. I want to be set up by the time I go out there. So social media, vlog my life. So it's like, okay, let's start building up a platform. I have like a year and a half to build that up.
Hmm.
By the time I'm out there, it'll be good. Just like a bunch of things like that. So if you don't have goals, I think that's the first step. Journaling goals, writing things down. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, in a way, they don't really have a plan. They don't even really know what they want to do.
yeah.
I know there's some people out there, and even some of my friends, man, like they're just kind of, and I'm not shitting on nobody who works a 9 to 5, but I'm saying,
Getting on them. I'm just saying.
I'm not shitting on nobody who does the 9 to 5 thing, but I feel like they're kind of just working for money instead of letting, their
Yeah,
time work for them and like doing the
exactly.
things that they really want to do.
Yeah,
And I was in the same position, is really working just to kind of pay my bills
yeah.
until I finally got educated and smart and realized like you could use your time to benefit the things that you really want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could, work 9 to 5 and save
Hmm.
up money and save up towards your goals, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
for sure.
But as far as you being stuck there and not really having a plan, I feel
Hmm.
like even parents, like they're like can be an example. They're kind of working a job and they're just there for 25-30 years until they retire,
Yeah,
and they really kind of gave up on their goals and their
yeah.
dreams, and they didn't put it in motion because they
Hmm.
didn't really even have a plan. Like they didn't even know what they wanted to do from the jump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like purpose too.
Hmm.
Do you think that, for someone who is working a 9 to 5 right now, do you think that that is what they have to do for their whole life? Like, is there show, like, explain to them the way that you were kind of able to come up with that plan and like
Yeah,
create this version for you?
yeah. I would say, first off is just knowing that some things are possible, that you can. I think that's the first thing is like, yeah, you might have these things, but you're like, nah, I can't do that. Like, that's the first thing is knowing that you can and that you're able and that things are possible. And luckily, we live like in a place where, like in America, where like we can do these things. Like it's right in front of us, and it's like it's possible. That's the first thing is knowing it's possible. But with the whole 9 to 5 thing, like if you have purpose and you're doing the 9 to 5, like of course, like do your grind. And but I think when people have kids or they have these certain things, like I feel like they're just like, oh, my life's over. Like I just gotta stop working. It's all about the kids. Da, da, da. Like no, like still live your life. Like still, do what you have to do. You're gonna have to make sacrifices. Like uh, this past year, although I was posting on social media and traveling, but I was working at Amazon.
Hmm.
I was waking up at 3 a.m., going to the gym, coming home, doing my Bible study, doing my homework, and then going to work a 10-hour shift at Amazon. And so, but you would never know that on social media. But like, I'm doing 10-hour shifts, like dogging, slaving. And even at this moment right now, although like I'm grinding, social media, I'm a full time student. I have two jobs, one full time, one part time, where I'm working 16 hours a day. Like, but it's just like I'm willing to take that sacrifice right now because I know where I'm going. Like I have such a big goal, and where I'm going. And also like my biggest purpose is like I want to be such a great father, a great husband. Like I feel like that's like my purpose. And so for me to do that, like, I gotta sacrifice now. I gotta get educated about my finances. Like when my dad passed away, there was no retirement. We had to do GoFundMe. We had to pay for him to be buried. There was no like, let me leave your kids this. Like how people on the hills, a lot of that stuff is like, okay, mom died, we inherited a house and $1 million on top of the house. None of that. And it's like the education is so low on that. And then so it's like I know I have to be the one to like make that curse like just switch that generation.
Break that generational
You
curse.
have to.
There's a lot of people who I feel like, in a way, like you were saying, they kind of give up on themselves, bro, because
Yeah.
they think that they can't accomplish what they want to, or they think that the goals they're setting for themselves are too
Yeah.
big. But in reality, like you said, the resources are all in front of us. But you got to really tap into
Just
it
gotta go.
and actually believe. It starts up here, bro. You got to believe that you can achieve it.
Yeah.
If you don't believe you can achieve it, like you're already selling yourself short right there.
Facts.
And it kind of like goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning, as far as like the fear and like all these like
Mhm.
mental things creeping up in your
Yeah.
mind that make you believe that you can't
Yeah.
accomplish what you want to.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of people sell themselves short, and they don't really, they don't have the mindset. But I'll be honest with you, the way I kind of got my confidence was, like you said, through Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah.
Because I was picking up that Bible, and I still am every single day.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the words to people's answers are in the Bible, but they're not really tapping into the
No.
resources and trying to figure it out
All
for
the answers are
themselves.
to the word, bro.
All the answers are in the word, bro. But people have this like mindset that they think that they can just figure out everything on their own, or
Yeah.
like not really that important in their life,
Yeah.
until one day you kind of hit rock bottom and you're like, bro, you need something, like some type of inspiration or wisdom that you're
Yeah.
not getting from nobody else.
Yeah.
And the Bible is right there, bro.
The biggest thing with like religion, and I feel like a lot of people, even myself, was like people who say they are religious. I feel like a lot of people um, have bad experiences with people who say they're religious but not with Jesus. People again like who claim that they're with Jesus, but Jesus himself, they don't really have a relationship. We're sinful people, we're gonna fail. And like even if it's like our loved ones, like we might get disappointed by our parents, but there's only if you're a believer, you know, if this thing's real, let's just say, Christianity's real, we believe that Jesus is the one who is perfect and hasn't sinned. And so we have to go to him, not so much of the people who are, sinful and all this stuff. Like we have to lean on the word because my thoughts change. Your ideas from last year changed, but there's one thing that has stayed the same this whole entire time, and that is the word. And it's crazy that this book was made 2,000 years ago and it's still active and alive today, and it still helps out people like me and you today. So it's like, what other thing can do that that's still reliable to this day? And people are still having a topic, whether it's bad or good. And it's like people are still having a topic about something that was made from 2,000 years ago. We go by trends, and things are gone in a month, but this thing's been up for 2,000 years. Like even if you're not a believer, I would say at least just like the values in it and the things that are taught, it won't steer you wrong, even if you're not a believer.
Bro, there's so much game in the
So
word.
much game. So much game.
I know that God is real. Let me tell you why, bro. And this is a crazy experience. I know
Talk to
some
me.
people might kind of get, a little freaked out or
Yeah.
whatever. But when I was younger, I grew up in the church,
Mhm.
and I used to go, because my family, we were kind of like separated. Sometimes I would go to church with my grandma, who
Mhm.
passed away, RIP grandma. Sometimes I would go to church with her,
Yeah.
and she went to a different church. It was more like a Baptist church.
Yeah.
And then I would go to church sometimes with my cousins, and they kind of grew up in like just a regular, normal
Church.
Christian church.
Yeah.
And the worshiping is different,
For sure.
with the music and everything.
Yeah.
But as far as what I saw, and I'll never forget this, bro, and this is how I know Jesus Christ is real. And I even think about it still to this day.
Yeah.
But I was on like a retreat for church, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was with my family, and it was my cousin, actually. I'm not gonna say her name, but we were kind of we were going there obviously to learn the word of God and everything. And she was going through some stuff, and it was really hard on her. And she was dealing with, like, I feel like past trauma, like stuff that she was going through in her past life that
Yeah.
she could never just get over.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. That's
Sure.
part of like mental health and everything too as well. But she actually, I've witnessed demons get casted out of a human being, which was my cousin. I'm not gonna say her name,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I literally and it was multiple times too, bro. It wasn't just one time.
yeah,
So at the retreat, it was just like an experience that I saw that I'll never forget. And we had to pray over her and kind of like hold her down in a way
yeah.
to get her, back
Mhm.
to life because, bro, like that whole situation right there, like it was something that was like not to be played with.
It's not
And
to be
that's
played with,
that
bro.
I feel like God wanted me to see that in a way because I've always had my questions about,
Mhm.
whether Jesus Christ was real or not
Yeah,
because like I said, I came from a family. I grew up in poverty, bro. Like
yeah,
it was tough. Like we were always moving around.
mhm,
Like we never had a house.
yeah,
It was, that's why I want to break the generational curse too.
mhm,
But it was tough growing up, bro. So I would always have these questions like, why does God have us in this position?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
why are we, here and other people are living up here?
mhm,
And to even answer my own question, like I feel like God wanted me to go through certain situations in my life and see certain things and actually see stuff for what it really was. So
yeah.
then that way when I got older, like I am now, I'm able to kind of
You got hella
yeah,
game,
I got hella game now,
so
bro.
much game.
But if I would have never went through like certain situations in my life, I would have never
You take a lot of
probably
stuff for granted.
yeah, bro. I took a lot of stuff for granted, even with like music and women, like pleasures.
Yeah,
Like that was something that I kind of battled with because it was just something that kind of took my mind. Like, bro, it took over my mind. It corrupted me in a way, because
yeah,
I was just so lost for a while, bro. I'd probably say as a kid, you don't really know any better. I probably say up until I probably say maybe the end of middle school, like eighth grade going into high school.
mhm.
Like I was just so misled, bro. And like social media was kind of just like popping
Starting
off. It
out.
wasn't as big as it is now,
Yeah,
but like I was still misled, bro, because I was just like I was just a demon child, bro. Like I was a badass
on
kid.
demon
I
time.
was like class clown too. Like
Yeah,
I was always telling jokes. Like I was mean to people, but I feel like I had a lot of insecurities with myself,
yeah,
and I was kind of running and hiding from
yeah,
certain things. When I was younger, my dad wasn't always around. Like
mhm,
he was kind of doing what he was doing. He was
yeah,
kind of like in the streets and stuff. And
mhm,
my mom, shout out to moms. Like she was always there. Yeah, it was hard,
mhm.
but she always pulled through, bro. Like she always did what she had to do
It's always
as
gonna
a mother
happen.
should. Yeah, bro. So shout out to moms. But my dad's in my life back again too. Like
Yeah.
we were all living together as a family now. But
That's
there was just
blessed, bro.
yeah, I'm really blessed, bro,
Oh,
to
that's
have both my
fire.
parents.
Yeah,
But it was just something that I went through that was tough for me to like experience, and I would always like ask God, like, why am I in this certain position?
mhm,
Like, why are you doing this to our family? And I feel like to answer my own question again, like it's just something that we have to go through to be able
yeah,
to believe, because like you
thanks.
said, reading the Word of God, like there's a lot of game in there, and it'll help you navigate through certain situations in your life,
So much stuff,
and
bro.
you'll think about the past too, and kind of be more grateful for
Yeah,
things. I'm not in the same position I was when I was younger, so
yeah,
I look back on it now like, damn, bro, like it's really a blessing to kind of see how far we've come as a family and everything too.
thanks.
I know for you too, like growing up and with everything you got going on right now,
Mhm.
bro, you probably would have never thought you'd even be in this position
Hell no. Hell
right now.
no. But I'm just happy to be alive, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah. A lot of people take that for granted too, bro.
Yeah,
Like I wake up and thank God every day because tomorrow's not promised, bro.
yeah. I
Like
post it on my story every day, but people think it's sweet. Like, oh, we woke up today, something sweet, bro. You're gonna die one day.
one
And
day,
like the
bro.
fact that I didn't wake up to like hearing like no bad news, like my family's good, my mom's alive, like, because there's gonna be a day. There's gonna be a day, that's for sure. You're gonna get a call. Someone's gonna die. Like your parent is gonna happen. And so like the fact that I didn't get that every single day, like, I'm just super thankful within that self.
My dad, he actually got diagnosed with cancer, bro. He has a tumor in his
Recently?
stomach. Yeah, recently, within the
Wow.
last like month and a half, 2 ago.
Wow.
And I was reading a scripture in the Bible, and it wasn't a scripture, but it was more of like an inspiration on what the verse meant.
Mm,
And it was saying something in the Bible about you're gonna go through dark times in life. Like there's gonna be things that come up in your life that are gonna be inevitable. Like you can't really dodge
yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
And it says something about darkness. It says something about death. It says something about sickness
Hmm.
and just all these things. And then this kind of happened in my life,
Yeah.
and I feel like God wanted us as a family to go through this situation because
Hmm.
He's gonna show me once again how real and how powerful He is.
Yeah.
And I know my dad's getting a lot healthier now. At first, he was kind of he's kind of low because he
Yeah.
wasn't able to like eat properly because there was something with his esophagus, bro. Like
Mm.
he wasn't able to eat food and like swallow it all the
Mhm.
way. He had to get like a feeding tube installed, and from him getting the feeding tube installed, bro, like it didn't really look in the beginning. It didn't look good,
Mhm.
but now with everything going on,
Yeah.
like the doctors were able to do their thing, and he
Yeah.
had surgery, and he's gonna go through this chemo process now. But God is showing me in a way that he's gonna be able to overcome this situation.
Yeah.
And one thing for me was when I got what I was praying for
Mhm.
up until 2 years. That's when I started picking up the Bible. Within those 2 years, bro, I never stopped praying. Like I never stopped, even when I got what I wanted, though.
Yeah.
I never stopped reading the Bible, and I
Yeah.
never stopped praying to God.
That's the biggest thing.
Bro, tell me about it. I wanted to ask you though. So, what do you have to say about building a community and kind of coming up with a plan in your life?
For sure. I think the Andrew Tate said this. He's like, if he said like he has all of his dogs, and it's like if you're trying to do something by yourself, you're competing with people who have a community. So it's like, don't be afraid to go get that community, and also surround yourself with people like who are on the same path as you. Like, whether I just posted on my story, like I just want a solid group, 5 people locked in with God. We're in the gym. If you're doing that job and I'm doing this, but like we're just holding each other accountable to do that, like just something's powerful about doing something like that, and just having a solid group to where you're holding each other accountable, and just being like, yo, like I want to get these things done within this month or whatever. Be like, yo, bro, there's something like with like bros you can do. Girls be sensitive. But like you can call out like, bro, like you said you was gonna do this. You've been slacking. You're on some bull right now. You gotta pick it up, bro.
We gotta hold each other
Yeah,
accountable.
like you told me you want this so bad. Like, all right, if you want that so bad, I'm gonna be on you. You be on me. And it's like when you start saying and when you're out there and you're like, I want to do this, and you haven't been doing it, and someone like asks you about it, you're like, oh dang, like that stung a little bit. And all they're doing is just asking, like, yo, you said you're gonna do this, whatever. And you're like, like that's happened for me before. It's like, all right, like I gotta be on it, and just having a solid like bro, like, and that's where you have to distort, like, cut people off. Like, are they good for me? What are they doing for me? Are they benefiting me? Are they not? And at the end of the day, there's nothing better than to like serve and like be in a community where you can serve. And yeah, I think my biggest community right now is probably just like church and like a few of my friends, but we're all like uh, God like driven.
Purpose
Yeah,
driven.
purpose driven. All going to the gym. We all want to do better, and that's something where I keep myself around with. Like I got friends that slack off and do their thing, still drink and party, but it's just different for sure.
Bro, I recently, within the last 2 years, I kind of went through this like isolation period with myself.
I
And
bro, I've seen you like you're like gone, bro.
I literally deactivated everything,
You're
bro.
gone.
From Snapchat to Instagram to even like I deleted my Twitter. Like, bro, I
Yeah,
went through this whole isolation phase, and what I learned from this was I was trying to get people on the same board as I was because I was
yeah,
going through it, and I was trying to change, bro, because I knew like the life that I was living at the time, like that
mm,
wasn't what I wanted for my future self.
yeah,
And I was still young, and I still had time to come up with a plan and be able to execute that plan, bro.
yeah,
But I was just so like, and I'm not saying I was held back, but the people that I was surrounding myself with, it just wasn't helping me or benefiting me in any way, bro, because we
yeah.
were still just talking about the same thing. And I kind of wanted to add on to what you
No,
said in the
thanks.
beginning, bro. Like, bro, I would come around and like, like we're still talking about the same shit, bro. Like
Yeah,
nobody's talking about entrepreneurship. Nobody's talking about starting a business. Like
uh,
nobody's talking about trying to put plans in order to execute them, bro. Like we're
yeah,
just all worried about getting, effed up and trying to party and
yeah.
like pleasure all these
See you on the
women out here,
weekend.
bro.
Yeah,
And it's like I wanted better for myself, so I had to really lock in, bro. It took me about a whole year and a half, bro. And I'm not saying I was by myself through that whole phase because
yeah,
I still
yeah,
have my family and I was still keeping,
yeah.
I was
Still
still
doing.
keeping tabs with certain
Yeah,
people.
it was like a healthy, for
Yeah,
sure,
bro. You
healthy.
more of just like, okay, if I do this, like I know I can get to here.
Yeah,
I just need to put in the work and I just need
yeah,
to come up with this plan.
hmm
And I need to execute this plan, and I'm not gonna let plans hold me back or
yeah,
even, for the slightest like little reason, I wasn't gonna
Yeah.
have them hold me back at all. Isolation is needed, bro,
Hmm.
because in that period I was able to find myself and like actually understand like where I was going wrong and
Yeah.
actually understand like what I needed to do
Hmm.
to put myself in position to win, bro. And I feel like a lot of people have a hard time being alone
Yeah.
because they're just a mental thing,
Hmm.
like they can't really lock in on what they want to do.
Facts.
And even coming up with a plan, bro, like I feel like it's tough for people to even believe in themselves and like
Hmm.
believe they can achieve something.
Yeah.
This is just so misled, bro. Like it's just crazy. And do you think social media kind of has like a play in that where they're like doubting themselves or like they're having these like types of like mental things creep up in their mind, like telling them that they can't achieve something? Like, do you think? Cause how do you think social media can be as far as like being an influence on certain people?
I think it can either like make or break you for sure. Because
Yeah,
like you can either like there's been times where I mean I watch podcasts like YouTube's a social media,
yeah,
but it's like I treat that as like I learned so much on there. So it's like all my if you go on my YouTube, it's not like Kyson, like not disrespect for Kyson. Kysonet's hilarious, but it's not so much entertaining stuff. It's like, knowledge, like podcasts, learning the game, how to like do I want to be a consumer or do I want to have people consume what I'm putting out? And so like what side do I want to be on? And so like that's like the biggest thing is like learning what side you want to be on, the consumer or being able to produce the content. So,
yeah. Nah, straight
you
up.
want to be on the money side or help people make money by you consuming them. And so, yeah, like, but I think there's like a healthy side to it. Like, if you're seeing it from, like you said, you found the Bible through that. Like, shout out to the social media
Yeah,
or through the power of social media, the fact that you're able to reach out to people and do it for free, like, you never know. Like, some of my videos blew up and like I don't pay for any of my followers or any of my stuff to like ads
organic.
like organic and like the fact that I can post something for free and get possibly like a million people to see something like that's unheard of back in the day. Like you had to pay thousands of dollars to get a commercial out or whatever, but like now you can do it all on like something that's in your pocket.
Yeah,
And so like I think that's powerful. But yeah.
I agree. It could be positive or negative because what I had to really do was I had to reset my algorithm, bro. Like I was like, what I noticed too is I was following on my page a lot of like influencers, like rappers, like you said, entertainment,
Yeah.
but like they weren't teaching me anything. Like they weren't giving me no game. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't getting no knowledge. And what I did, bro, was look at my followers and everything, and I literally unfollowed like all these like entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, and then like I just stopped following like
Just
that wasn't like benefiting my life or benefiting me,
yeah, for
And
sure.
then me being in that isolation phase, like just like getting game from a bunch of podcasts
Hmm.
and watching people who were more positive, having a positive impact on my life.
Yeah.
I kind of, like I said, I reset my algorithm, bro. And then now when I go on social media, bro, I'm seeing like more positive things instead
Yeah.
of like looking at a bunch of negative and,
Hmm.
yeah, bro,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Some people have the cat memes. Some people have like the gym girls shaking butt, and then
Yeah.
some people have like the godly stuff for like some motivation. So for sure the algorithm it'll social media is crazy that it will literally feed you more stuff that you like are watching longer or you like more or you're sharing. Like it'll give you more of that stuff. So
Right.
definitely got to be careful like what you're consuming. And that's another thing, bro. Like I mean, corn, like consuming that stuff, like that ruins a lot of people too. And just like I was in a tough position with that stuff, and like I have a few of my boys have been vulnerable, telling me stuff like that. So it's like, and it's like that's just like another highness of like chasing something, like a fantasy or the lust or like, bam, like you know, it goes
I
deep,
was
bro.
just talking to my friend about that same topic right now,
It
bro.
goes
That
deep.
corn, bro.
Yeah,
I was asking him about it and what his thought was on.
it goes deep, bro.
Bro, I went on semen retention for about a whole year, bro. I don't know if you ever been through that,
Yes,
but
yeah,
yeah.
like and something about that, it's a sleeper.
Oh
It's
yeah,
powerful.
it's powerful, bro.
Because if you're able to resist that, like you're able to, cut back a little bit on the lust. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's hard,
It's real hard,
it's
bro.
tough. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, like with walking in my faith, is like going through that. And women are dangerous, bro. Like And like, all the most of the kings or rulers, some of the kings and rulers in the Bible have all been broken down by,
A woman.
women. And so it's like being able to, that semen retention, or like waiting. I'm on a season where I'm waiting till marriage, and that took a lot for me. Like it took to the point of where past time I just did it, to where I felt convicted, and I had to reset myself. Like, all right, like if I'm gonna walk this out, because you're gonna be judged. It says in the Bible that you're judged higher at a higher cost if you're more so to like proclaim and teach about the word. And so if I'm proclaiming this, and if I'm making stories, or if I'm posting on social media, and if I'm serving in the church, like I'm judged at a higher standard. Like people
Right.
look at me at this, so I can't like I went to Star Lounge for 20 minutes 2 days ago, just to like, I was like, my friend told me to go. I was like, let me just see.
Was that
I
your first time there?
In a long, long time. It's
Yeah.
been like 2 years since I went, and so I go, and a girl's like, you be talking so much about Star, and here you are, or like
Oh,
talking
she
about,
called you out in the club,
yeah,
bruh?
like,
Okay.
and then like talking about like God, and like we're talking about God in this, and like
Yeah.
she was also giving me like my props, like I see what you're doing, and like your story in this, and then we started talking about God. But it's just like now people like see me as that. Like I go in there and they're like, "What are you doing here?" Like, you're not. You feel me? And like
Right.
even like security, like the guy I knew the security, he's like, "What are you doing here?" So it's like I have this already, like this little aura, in a sense of like this is
Right.
who I am.
Yeah.
And that's something where I didn't want to. I was so afraid to have happen. I didn't want to, like, I was believing Jesus, but like I didn't want to take that full initiative to like truly carry my cross, because I was afraid of like, I'm going to be judged at that standard, or people are going to look at me like this. And yeah, like with women, I told myself like, all right, like I'm going to be serving in a church, and I have mentors and stuff that are on me as a man of God, and it's like if I'm going to truly believe this, then I got to take it serious. The girl that when I did it, I was like, all right, like I'm a I'm proclaiming to be a man of God, and like as for me to do this, I have to, like, I'm sorry that I did this to you, and I have to be vulnerable and put my humility to the side, and like tell her like, yo, like I want to live this out. And so with that being said, I can't do this. Stuff like that.
I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on semen retention, man,
You
because
are.
I can tell you right now, bro, I went through a whole year of just letting everything go, and
Yeah.
just kind of putting women and everything to the side. Bro, when you do that, you are 100% focused on the mission, on the goal, on what you want to do, bro.
It's
Because
so
you're not
powerful,
you're not
bro.
thinking about these women. Like, you got to know that you are, like, you're the king, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they will bow down to you when they see that you got things in motion.
Yeah.
So why not just, if you're not in a good spot, why not just take some time off,
Yeah.
do what you got to do, come up with a plan,
Hmm.
put things in motion, and then
Yeah.
when they see you, bro, you're gonna vibrate at a way higher level. Your
It's so
aura
it's so
plus 200
crazy,
aura, bro.
bro. It's so crazy. Honestly, it is. Yeah, 100%. And I'm proud of you for doing that. And
I
I
appreciate it.
I don't I don't think I've met somebody yet that is
Who
on
has
that
spoke
timing.
on semen retention?
Yes, but has
It's,
who's actually done it? Because there's like, even when I tell people, especially if you're to, because I guarantee if you tell, I don't know if you told some of your homies that
bro, I just told this girl that I was talking to, like,
she probably tripping.
yes,
I'm pretty sure you probably tell some of your bros or some certain people like what the heck?
yeah,
Because when I'm on, like I tell them, I'm like, bro, like, because some of my friends like are addicted to coochie,
to
like,
corn and shit,
yeah,
coochie
or
too, yeah.
whatever, like,
I mean, I can't be mad at him. I can't blame him, bro, because I was the same way.
no, yeah, for sure,
Like
for
that's what,
sure,
that's a part of the pleasure and, like,
yeah,
chasing that.
yeah,
Um, I wanted to add one last question there before we wrap it up.
yeah,
Uh, so you're in a good position right now.
yeah,
You put in the work, obviously.
yeah.
You did what you had to do to become this person that you are today.
Hmm.
What was something that you really had to, or a couple of things, or it could be anything?
Yeah.
What did you have to sacrifice to get to where you're at today? What were things that you had to kind of just say, like, hey man, like, I'm not gonna kind of follow the same path that everybody else is taking, and what did you have to do to get to where you're at right now?
I think I just wanted to truly just be different, and knowing what that meant. And I feel like I'm more valuable. Like if I'm going down the path, I have the stigma of like Bro, people already think I'm like a party animal. Like some girls have a perspective like a party animal.
Really?
I'm catching body, yeah, like I'm catching bodies. Like I'm out here, and like whenever they truly meet me, or like just not just girls, but like my friends or whatever, or like just new people, like they're like, dang, I would have thought. Like they just have a persona on me, and so, but it's so normal. Like the semen retention, waiting till marriage, that's unheard of. Like that's not normal,
In today's
especially
generation.
in this generation. Like
Yeah.
that stuff's not normal. So it's like that's so much more highly respected, and it's like it shows that you have so much more aura, like you're saying. You have self-respect, you have discipline. Like you're not slave to these certain things. Like you can say no. Now you're not going to pick a relationship based off sex. Like now you're going to find a better, different quality girl, and
Hmm.
your standards, just you're held at a different standard. And it's like, because some relationships are built on sex, and like I've had a relationship built on sex. I didn't want to leave because the sex, or like, I should have left a long time ago, but the sex,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's like now I'm able to just like discern on those things, and I think just truly being different, and like I knew I just had, yeah, I had to step away from that stuff, and it's like, all right, I either be like everybody else, or again be like a statistic, or like if you don't mess with me for being real, if you don't mess with me by speaking the word, or you're gonna get hated on. And if we believe Jesus is the most hated man, so who am I to try to make people try to like me? Like there's no, even if I'm the richest person or if I do everything right, there's still gonna be someone that hates on you. So in a most respectful way, like you just gotta say like F them.
You gotta stop worrying about what other people think about you.
You just gotta do it, bruh.
You gotta know. You gotta hold yourself high and just you
You
gotta understand that you're the one who holds the value, bro.
Yeah, like once you understand your worth, like it doesn't matter what anybody says,
Nope.
and you know your truth, like because it hits different if someone tells me like, I'm doing something, I don't know, they like if someone was to call me fat right now, I'm like, bro, I'm just,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Yeah.
like, I don't care. But when I was fat, it did sting a little bit more
It's
because it was
yeah.
true. So it's like once you know your truth, and if someone says something about you, it's not gonna hurt because you know who you are.
Exactly.
You just have to know who you are,
And
and
you
you
know
know
you
what you
put in
offer,
that work too,
bro.
bro.
And all that stuff, how you're saying, like when you work on yourself in that isolation, and it's like those times where you know what you've been through, you know what you came out of, like you've seen yourself in this dark moment, and now you know where you're here. Like it's not an ego pride thing, but it's like, bro, like you don't know where I've been, where I came from, bro. Like
You
I,
kind of look at life in a different point of view too, though, because
yeah,
you can kind of see yourself. It's crazy to see yourself grow from like being up here
yeah,
now and say too like the things that you went through that were tough in life. It
mm,
was it was tough, bro, but it was needed. It was
yeah,
necessary for you to get to where you're at today.
yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
you don't really look at them as L's. They're kind of more so lessons
Bro,
in a way.
every L is a single lesson,
There's always
bro.
something you can get out of it, bro.
All of them,
Something, bro.
never. Whether if it's like for some of the men, if you're lacking confidence, if you're trying to go up to a girl and you get rejected, it's not an L. It's a lesson. It's like, all right, like, well, you know what I'm saying? It's just like certain things, like, or I didn't get the job. It's like, okay, like, did I wear something? Did I mess up? Did I need more requirements? Like, okay, boom, 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 break it down. Why? Everything is a lesson. And yeah, I think I probably I'm struggling with one thing for the most part right now, and that's like giving myself grace, and like kind of celebrating my small wins, but then also like trying to find the healthy balance of point of like giving myself grace but not getting comfortable again, because I'm so afraid of comfortability. And so, but it's like my year ago self would be so proud of where I am right now. Like I'm just always just want more. And that's why I love that J. Cole song "Love Yours." It's
Yeah.
like you're always gonna want a better girl, better house,
Right.
but it's just like that goodness of just being content, not comfortable, but like content and happy with what you have and faithful what you have.
Bro, my mom be saying the same thing. Like, you got to give yourself grace for like how far you've come and what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people they'll go through certain situations or like they'll achieve things,
Mm.
and then you kind of get this mindset like, damn, like I haven't even done enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's never enough, bro. It's never enough. Like you
Yep.
always want more.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah.
But hey, bro, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you, bro.
I know a lot of people are gonna get inspired by this conversation that we had, bro. We probably went like what, an hour and a half today?
Yeah,
Yeah, we probably
we
went an hour
did.
and a half.
Yeah.
Chosen Purpose, though, man. I wanted to start this channel for people to get inspired, and we got more content coming on the way. I got a couple more people I'm doing interviews with, and we're gonna keep them coming, bro.
I'm
But
excited, bro.
hey, you've been doing your thing, bro. I'm real proud of
Thank
like to
you.
see what you've accomplished
I'm
too,
proud
bro.
of you, bro.
Bro, you came a long way though, bro. Like you really like. I remember when you were younger, like high school age, you know.
Yeah.
Like, bro, the mentality that we both had, you weren't really on this level.
Yeah, we just
And
bullshit.
literally, you see what happens when you put in the work. But I appreciate you coming on the show, bro. And bro, you're gonna do big things in life, bro.
We gonna make it out of it.
We're gonna make it happen,
We
bro.
gonna be out
Yes,
here.
sir. Chosen Purpose, man. Thank you guys for watching.